The United States Senate is back in session in just 4 short days. We're going to tell you all of the important things you need to know and why more stimulus payments for the American people is currently winning. Welcome back, everybody. This is your stimulus update for Friday, July 17th. Let's start things out with a little bit of infighting within the Republican Party itself. It's not a surprise to us, but Fox Business reported yesterday that there's a little bit of a civil war between Steven Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow. This is their quote directly from their online article. A civil war is taking place inside the White House, pitting Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin against the National Economic Council chief, Larry Kudlow. Why are they having this civil war? Because they have a disagreement of opinions and Larry Kudlow's ideas are not making it through. Again, like I said, not a surprise to us because a week ago, I said this. I don't think Larry Kudlow knows what he's talking about. If you want to know my opinion, I believe that Larry Kudlow's ideas are getting thrown aside. I think Larry Kudlow looks a little defeated to me. I don't know this for sure, but I believe he's probably throwing out things like, we don't need another stimulus payment to the American people. That is a waste of money. We need to incentivize only one thing and one thing only, and that is getting people back to work. However, that idea has been dismissed. That statement I gave was after Larry Kudlow had a press conference in which he highlighted that he was in agreement with President Donald Trump and Steven Mnuchin about making more targeted stimulus payments, even though the two of them never said that. I looked into Larry Kudlow's statements, into his demeanor and his affects, and determined that something was wrong. I believe that his ideas were being thrown aside. People were not agreeing with him because he was too heavy on incentivizing getting back to work and too light on providing more economic assistance to the American people, and that assessment was right a week ago. And yesterday, the major news networks finally picked up on it, which means it is possible that on this channel, you can get information a week ahead of what the other news channels are saying, simply because we take a step back, we look at what people are saying, we analyze it correctly, and we tell you guys what we believe is happening. It doesn't mean I'm always going to be right, but we pinpointed that one. The Fox Business article also said that Kudlow, who is a longtime advocate of lowering taxes as a way to promote growth, is pushing for a payroll tax cut. They're calling it a payroll tax holiday. I believe Larry Kudlow only wants to incentivize going back to work. Larry Kudlow, it's time to grow a heart. Being a staunch fiscal conservative right now and just sending people back to work is not the way to go. So who is currently winning between the two of them, Larry Kudlow or Steven Mnuchin? All reports coming out are saying that the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Steven Mnuchin's ideas are currently winning. Thus, the title of this video, Stimulus is Winning, meaning he's pushing for more stimulus checks to the American people. He's pushing for the furtherance of the unemployment boost. More individuals are supporting those ideas, including President Donald Trump and major Republican leadership in the Senate. Plus, it is an election year, so we believe that Steven Mnuchin's ideas are going to win out and Larry Kudlow's are not. I don't know if President Donald Trump is going to win a second term, but if he does, I don't foresee very good things for Larry Kudlow if that does happen. I think Larry Kudlow will either just step out on his own or he will be removed because I don't think his ideas are being looked at very kindly by most individuals. So what else do you need to know? What else do we know right now? We know that next week on Monday, the United States Senate is finally going to be back in session. They're coming back into session with most of their plan already thought out. But we also know that the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Steven Mnuchin, has blocked out next week in order to help the United States Senate to carefully craft and put together the next stimulus package. We've had numbers from $1 to $2 trillion thrown out. We know that if this is going to be a bipartisan bill, they're going to have to be much closer to the $2 trillion number than the $1 trillion number. We know that they're going to include more stimulus payments to the American people. We know that they're going to continue the unemployment boost. We know that they're going to continue to give more help to small businesses. We know that they're going to continue to give more money to hospitals and research efforts for medicines to help combat this. We know that they're going to give aid to the states and the local governments. I don't think it's going to be $1 trillion, but I think it's going to be a big number. It wouldn't surprise me if it's $500 billion or more, because that money is going to go to helping schools out and local municipalities that really have been taxed with all of the efforts they've been putting into place with everything that's been going on. So I believe believe that Senate Republicans are going to relent on that, but the Democrats are going to have to relent on a few things too. So they're going to put litigation protection in there. As people go back to work, they're going to want to protect businesses against being sued. That makes sense. It is common sense. And there might be a few other things that make their way in there, little incentives, little stimulus things. It could be a payroll tax holiday. There could be some benefits if you go out to eat and stuff like that. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I know it's kind of crazy to say that, like that's an idea, but it might make it in there along with all the other stuff. And that's okay, I guess, as long as they get the major things, the major important stuff in there. Are we going to change anything on our chart? We're not. Everything is really good. We've gotten this thing pinpointed. I think we know what's going to happen here. We got it figured out. It's just the timeline right now that's the most important. Secretary of the Treasury Steven Mnuchin wants to get things done in a bipartisan way by July 31st to get this thing signed by August 1st, and I am shooting for that. I've been putting that down for a month now, and he's now agreeing with that we've had here on this channel. I think that's going to happen. However, if there's too much disagreement between Republicans and Democrats, it can get pushed into August, early August. And Nancy Pelosi made a statement the other day saying that they will cancel their August recess, which is a 1-month recess to go back to their districts. They will cancel it if they can't come to an agreement, which shows me she's preparing for a disagreement, which is both good and bad at the same time. It means that she's willing to work with things, I guess, but it also means that they might not just say, hey, yeah, if it's got stimulus payments and unemployment boost and a couple other things, we're going to agree with it. They might not agree with it unless it has some of the other things in there that they want to get. I just hope that the Republicans leave their pork out of it. I hope that the Democrats leave their pork out of it. And I hope that they just do the right thing. Give the American people help. Give unemployment help. Give small businesses help. Give hospitals and research help. State and local municipalities also need help, and they should also put in some little things here and there that continue to provide help depending on what the numbers look like. This is just common sense stuff that they need to figure out. But I will tell you right now, if you're worried, if you think that you're not going to get more money, I believe you are. We have it at 90% plus. I think it's going to happen. Obviously, it's not going to be necessarily what you want. Maybe you would want some recurring payments to make sure that you're solidified in your situation. But it looks like the $1,200 payment is coming and some other economic help depending on your situation. We will continue to keep you guys informed here. I think we got a pretty good idea on what's going on. Plus, the Senate is back in session next week, so you're going to want to hear all of the stuff that's going on because things are going to become a lot more clear. You're going to want to be on the in and know when this is all going down and when that timeline is going to happen, when you're going to get your check. I think they're going to start going out in August, but we got to keep up to date with these things to know for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. As always, consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would love for you to come along with us on the channel. I will catch you guys next time.